Hello, hello. It is time for team training, and this beginning of this is going to sound a little bit different because this video is going to live on inside of our team page guides, and you'll understand a little bit more kind of as I work through. So, if you're watching this like weeks and things beyond when I'm actually recording this and doing this live team training, you'd be like, what in the world are you talking about, John? But if you're watching this pretty close to now when I'm recording it, this will make a little more sense. So if you've been seeing some changes happening to the team page throughout the day today, I'm doing a little bit of reorganization, a little bit of spring cleaning, if you will. So not to worry, the guides are going to change a little bit, but this ATM method that I had teased in what it says in the description area for you, that's what this is. So to first introduce myself, my name is Dawn Winters, and I am the Silver Premier Leader of Team Delta Flight. It is my honor to have all of you on this page. Oh, there's someone watching live, so I will watch for comments. I'll do my very best. Sometimes it's hard for me on the desktop because then I have to remember to scroll over here. So what the ATM method is, it's not the automated teller machine. It's not the Mac, right? ATM is really the way that we show other people Posh as a business opportunity. We can call it recruiting, and some of us sometimes get caught up on the whole thing of recruiting, and it's meant to be. It seems to be something a lot tougher than it really ought to be. And this was introduced to me by a very good friend of mine, Stephanie Cervantes, who was kind enough to share it with me. She also happened to be one of my big sisters when I went to pledge at Posh's home office. So ATM is a way to make recruiting a little bit easier because sometimes recruiting can seem to be something that is very mired, very, labor intensive to do. And ATM is something that I don't know if she got this from another source or if she came up with this on her own, but she was kind enough to share it with all of us. So therefore, I want to share it with all of you. So now, all right, now 2 minutes in, I'm finally going to tell you what ATM stands for. ATM stands for add, tag, and message. Wash, rinse, repeat. Add, tag, and message. And what you'll see if you're watching this again right now in May of 2021, you won't see it this evening, but I am going to spend a lot of time building up the guides because the guides are the key to this whole ATM method and to make recruiting, to make offering Posh as the business opportunity a whole lot easier. Up until now, 3.5 years from me in, I haven't used this method. So I'm excited to see how much less work this is for all of us as far as offering other people the chance to come in and do this whole Posh thing with all of us. I think it's fun. You probably think it's fun. That's why you're here. So the adding, is adding people to the group. This group right here, yeah, behind the curtain into the Delta flight. So A is for adding. T is for tagging them within reason, right? Within reason inside of the group. And M is for messaging. Now, you may be asking like, well, why do we have a method anyway? Like I've recruited, team members without having a method behind it. And the thing of it is, it can be labor intensive. It can be really labor intensive. You can spend a whole lot of time doing it. And then, maybe the person decides that it's not for them, or, maybe you find yourself answering the same questions over and over. And maybe you're looking for a more simplified way. I think ATM might be something that you and others, future team members, can definitely benefit from. So if you've ever had a hostess, and I've had this happen with hostesses, I've had it happen with people who just love the Posh products. I've even had it happen with people who were just like, I'm really looking for like a social outlet, like somewhere to hang out with people or something to do to kind of expand my mind. And like, I'm a creative person. I like to design stuff, and I don't get a chance to do that in my 9-to-5 job or in my everyday world. I like Posh because I can do that. Whatever it is, if you have, let's say you have a hostess and the hostess does really, really well with her party or his party, and they have been interactive, they shared the things that they love, you ask the hostess like, hey, have you ever thought about doing what I do? Have you ever thought about sharing Posh with other people, maybe to make a little bit of money or maybe to, have the opportunity to travel a little bit? And in this manner, you're not offering them, you're not saying like, hey, do you want to join my team? You're simply offering them some information. And I think it's a whole lot easier for people to say yes to more information than it is to say yes to like taking the dive in. And I was in this situation. Many of you were in this situation, and your future teammates are likely going to have the same sort of experience. So that's where this method was born out of. And there's kind of three reasons why I like the ATM. One is it's not spammy or salesy. You're simply leading a conversation with them, right? You're not, I don't want to say wasting a lot of time, but you're not investing a lot of time in the going back and forth with, them giving you an objection. Like, I don't think I'd be very good at about selling. And you're like, I don't really sell anything. I just, share with the things that I like. Um, then another thing is that it's not really duplicatable. I'm not sure what the word is there. But it's not duplicable, that you can't do it again and again because you're going to be, spending a lot of time answering sort of the same questions. And that's not to say that they can't answer questions, but they're going to find a lot of what they need right here in these, in the group guides. And also when in the back of their mind, and this was in the back of the mind of my mind as I was sort of asking these questions, and perhaps only because I came into Posh with the plan to build a business. I prayed for all of you guys to be here with me. I know there's some people that come in because they're looking for the kit, they're looking for the value that's in the kit. But if someone's coming in to look at this as a business opportunity and they're realizing that, you know what, you've spent 5 hours answering questions for them, and they're like, oh my gosh, am I in the future going to spend 5 hours doing the same thing with them? They may not be super comfortable with recruiting down the line too. So the ATM method, it lets them get the answers in a way that they can then duplicate down the line. So they can see themselves actually doing this. So, excuse me, after I'm done with all of this, I will go back and note the timestamp so that if you want to come back and review this later on, I will put in the description for this video of where I touched on each part of the ATM method. So if you want to come back and look at adding, look at tagging and messaging, you can find those easily with the timestamps and like fast forward through. So this is the adding, adding them to this very group right here, because I'm going to flesh out and build out the guides so that you can find the answers and they can find the answers that are right inside of there. So adding them to this group. Who do you offer it to? Well, the people that you may have thought would be really, really great additions to your team. This could be a hostess, as I mentioned before. It could be someone who just loves Posh products, and maybe they are a great customer of yours and would be great to link arms with and then, kind of venture through this all together. I know for me that can be kind of a scary one because you're afraid of losing one of your very best customers. But let me tell you, having one of your very best customers as a teammate is so rewarding because you can then learn together. You can go through all of this together. So you offer it to those hostesses, offer it to your customers, offer it to people who are looking for, just something to kind of do with their time. Offer it to someone who really loves great ingredients, all of those categories of people that we may think of, or just, someone you think might be great on your team. So, this might look like, hey, Susie, you were a great host. You did a really good job of showing, what you had in your Posh stash to the people and sharing like why you love the things that you do. Are you open to a little bit more info about Posh? And if not, no big deal. Send that to her in a message, right? So I've offered her an honest compliment, right? She did a really good job with her party. She did a really great job of sharing what she loved with people. So offer up that honest compliment. Let them know why you think that they might do well. And then that whole piece at the end of, if not, no big deal, it gives them an out, right? So it's not kind of the icky feeling. They don't feel like they're pressured into it, so that they can say no and not feel icky about it. If not, no big deal. You are still their posh gal or posh guy or posh person, right? You're still their person, and they don't feel badly about saying no. So when you say that, hey, Susie, you were a great hostess. I really loved how you shared what you love about Posh. Would you be open to some more information about doing what I do? And if not, no big deal. With that, when you say that, they're going to respond one of two ways. First, they're going to say, you know what, Dawn? No, I don't really have any interest. Cool. I said no big deal. It's not any big deal. I'm going to keep them in my VIP group because they are a fantastic customer. And they just had a great party too. So I'm going to show them some new things that maybe they want to, cash in their perks on, or, go into the host exclusive store. Or if they say, yeah, I do want some more information. Go ahead, and that's when you can add them to the team page. I do have the team page set up now that I have to do the approvals on there. It prevents just, random people from the interwebs from finding their way in here. But don't worry, I do check that on the daily several times a day so I can let people in. At that point, when she says yes, or he says yes, I do want some more information, they may ask you a question like, hey, how much money can I possibly make? Or are there any minimums as far as sales? If at that point they ask a question, you're not going to tell them the answer. Now, that may sound mean, it may sound a little bit counterintuitive, but I don't want you to tell them the answer, because this will bog you down. It'll get you mired in a back and forth kind of conversation, because you are going to continue on with the ATM method for them to be able to get the answers of what they want. So tell them, hey, great, I'm going to add you. I'm going to add you into the group, and I'm going to tag you in some posts. This is where my next piece of work comes in. And again, if you're watching this past May of 2021, you'll be like, what's Dawn talking about? The guides are all here. But I'm going to flesh out the guides so that you have some places to tag people so you can direct them to the answers that they're looking for. So this is where the next part, the tagging, comes in. So you're going to tag this person in a couple of posts. Guide 2 in particular will be where you are going to look for a lot of information. This guide 2 is going to be specifically geared to guests that are coming in to visit our team page. Tag them in a couple of posts. Don't go crazy. Specifically if they've asked about pay, you can tag them in a post about getting paid. There's also going to be other posts about that as well. You can tag them there too. If they ask you about minimums, you can tag them in one of the guides about minimums. Don't overwhelm them unless they're specifically asking for information about those areas. So remember, you can tag them in different areas, but really guide 2 is going to be the first stop for them. And the guides inside of Facebook really are set up so that people can use this as a learning space. And that's my plan, is so that they can sort of do a little bit of self-guided learning. And that brings us to the third point, M, which is messaging. So after they've been in the group 24, 48 hours, I say 1 day or 2 day pass is what they get. That's what we used to call it. But let him or her know that you're going to check back. Like, hey, Sally, Sue, or hey, Susie, I'm going to check back with you in a couple of days just to, check in and see how things are doing. And, by letting them know what to expect, it lets them know, like, hey, take a couple of minutes and go in and look at the things that I've tagged you in, because I'm going to be checking back in a day or two, just to kind of see where you are. When you message them, here's the question, or some derivation of this that you're going to want to ask. Be like, hey, what did you like best about what you saw where I tagged you? They'll come back and be like, oh, I really liked that I get instant pay, or that I determine based on my sales how much money that I can earn each month, or that there were no minimums if I don't want to maintain a team, right? So those would be the things that they answer. You don't want to ask things about like, hey, what did you think? Or did you get time to check out those guides? Same kinds of questions that I don't like to ask when someone is testing out samples for me, right? Because it assumes other things, right? It assumes that, that they didn't get time, or it kind of leaves it open for them if you ask what they thought. So by asking them what they liked best or what they liked most, it's a prompt for them to, go and make sure that they do check the things out. And that'll help guide your future conversation with, with messaging. So in this, they'll reply and be like, here's what I like the best. They may respond back with more questions. They may have more questions to ask about other things. They may have an objection of, oh gosh, I don't think that I have time to do something like this, or I'm just not sure that that it's the right fit for me, something like that. At that point, in your messaging, I want you to add in someone. So here's the next big thing. This is a huge jump and a huge leap. And I thank Stephanie for all of these wonderful ideas that she put in my head. And I took notes, you guys. I took notes. So in your message with this person, I want you to then either add in your sponsor or add in me. I am here as a resource for every single one of you. Add in me to that group chat, or my phone's going crazy. Stop. Okay. Add in me or add in your sponsor or add in both into this group chat. Then introduce us. Say, hey, I have brought in my own sponsor, so-and-so, to kind of help us, in this conversation because maybe they thought that they didn't have time either. Or I've brought in Dawn into this conversation. She's been with Posh for 3.5 years. She works, a 9-to-5 job too. And I think that she could give us some good insight. So when you bring that other person in, make sure you introduce them because it lets your potential, future teammate know that there's someone else in the chat with you. They'll get a little notice in Facebook, right? In Messenger. But it also kind of breaks the ice to have that happen too. So, what it does for that whole conversation is that it's not just you, right? It's not just you that's in there. And then this does a bunch of things because you're not alone in answering any questions that this person may have. And also that person will see that they have a community of people that are behind them to kind of help them along and answer questions and guide them and give them advice and guidance, through this as they, navigate this first step, right? It helps them through this first step to make the right decision for them, maybe to go ahead and become your newest team member, or it might be a decision to decide not to do this at that time. Either way, it'll be the right decision for them. But if they do decide that this whole Posh thing is something that they want to do, they'll know that they've got a community of people behind them to support them and help them through this. Also, in bringing in this other person or other people to that group conversation, it gives Posh some more credibility because it's not just you and them in the conversation. You've got your sponsor or you've got me that are in there to kind of help this along too. And, it shows them that in Posh, they're never alone. They have a whole sisterhood or brotherhood or a whole family or a community that are behind them too. So there you have it. This little bit of a deeper dive into the ATM method. If you've got questions, feel free to pop them into the comments for this. This video will live on after just today and after this month. I've got some work ahead of me to build out those guides. And again, if you're watching this later on, you'll be like, what guides? But I keep reminding myself of this because I know that it is going to be a bigger project and one that I am super, super happy to do because I think that it'll help out a lot of us when it comes to offering up information and, this whole Poshy world to other people out there. So I welcome you to doing this ATM, the add, tag, and message method. And I look forward to being added to lots and lots of group messages in the future. So thanks so much, guys. Again, if you've got questions, pop them into the comments. Talk to you soon. Bye.